Ferdinand Hodler was a major artist of the late 19th, early 20th century. He can be associated with the symbolist movement, which was more interested in representing dreams and sensations as opposed to realism. But Hodler occupies a particular space because he developed an art in which you had a sort of tension between naturalism, the observation of reality, and a transformation, a schematization, almost a level of abstraction that would create paintings that felt very modern. That makes him a pioneer of modern art. This is an exhibition of drawings by Hodler that have been borrowed almost entirely from the Jenisch Museum in Switzerland. It's a selection of about 65 drawings, mostly studies and working drawings for his paintings. And so it gives really an intimate look into the working process of this artist. So the first section of the exhibition is devoted to studies for paintings of historical subjects. For instance, these are studies for a painting called Unanimity. That was a commission for the Town Hall of Hanover. It's a very, very large painting, like 50 foot wide, devoted to a 16th century subject where the townsmen of the city are swearing an oath. And so he came up with this composition with one central figure, and then around there are many men, and all very, very parallel, in accordance with his theory of parallelism, where you make a more powerful statement if you use repetition, symmetry. So in the late 1890s, Hodler decided to do a painting on the subject of day. And so from the start, he had the idea of a group of figures that would be sort of waking up to the light of day. In the end, Hodler made 3 paintings of the subject. And as it turned out, he seems to have done an earlier version, which he decided to cut up. And 2 fragments of this early version are now in 2 different museums. One is in the Musée Jenisch in Switzerland, and the other one is in the Detroit Art Institute. And so for the first time since those paintings were cut up by Hodler over a century ago in the exhibition, they are brought back together. The exhibition includes a section devoted to portraits because it was a genre that Hodler practiced throughout his life. Also, very often his portraits are very frontal, and he gives a lot of importance to the gaze, and especially in the self-portrait. In the portraits also, he was very concerned with accuracy and measurement. He's known to have actually used a ruler to measure the face of the person he was going to portray. You see all the little markings, but then transforming the image to give it more intensity. So always this tension between something that is naturalist, realistic, but also convey a strong emotion. Among the portraits, there is a group that is very special, let's say, and it's the portraits he did of a woman named Valentine Godé-Darel. She worked as his model, and they became lovers. And a few years later, in 1913, while she was pregnant with their daughter, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she eventually died in January of 1915. And Hodler decided to basically record this whole decline and this whole illness by making over 200 drawings of Valentine. He even dated them to the day sometimes. So this group of drawings is unusual also in Hodler's work because they were not preparatory studies for paintings, unlike most of his drawings. But mostly this is more like a sort of diary. It's an extremely poignant series of drawings, which definitely relate to the whole expressionist movement because of the intensity with which he's recording death, basically. So it's a very important group of works. Because this exhibition is really focused on the working process of this artist and how drawings are at the center of his methods and his practice, it's a perfect fit for the Morgan, which is devoted mostly to all the preparatory works that artists do before producing masterpieces.